Hey YouTube, this is gonna be my first battle recording video, and I know what you're thinking. This video doesn't have the correct recording equipment. That's because I don't have it. But I'm sorry, I will save up money, I promise, and I will get it. And then all the videos from that point on will be really cool. Until then, you're just gonna have to deal with Showdown. That's all I got. If you want to play Showdown and you're like, whoa, what's Showdown, yo? I will leave a link in the doobly-doo so you can go play it, not watch it. Or you could watch it. You can go there and watch it. That's a thing. They let you do that. Anyways, that way. Okay, so I'm gonna lead off with Ambipom, my slap ass here. He's gonna lead off with a Conkeldurr. I know these things are pretty hardcore because they have like Drain Punch and Knockoff, which is a piece of shit, but I'm just like, whatever, I'll get the flinch anyway. I switch into Brahma, and he does have the knockoff, and I'm like, son of a bitch, he knocked off my leftovers. Whatever, I'm just going to protect so I can shave off a little bit of health and then switch out and go into Hero here who's going to take a knockoff like a champ because he can't have his, shit knocked off. I go for the Air Slash, it does kill Conkeldurr. I'm like, fuck you, Conkeldurr, you piece of shit. He goes into Latias, that's a problem. He double switched, and I was like, oh, you faggot. I go into Powerpuff here. I think Powerpuff can take some shit, but it can't take a return. The Citrus Berry does go off, and I did go for the Calm Mind. So the Unburden kicks off. I'm much faster. I get a Flamethrower. Pinsir dies. Fuck you, Pinsir. He goes into his Quagsire. I'm just like, shit, I got nothing. So I try to go for a Dazzling Gleam. I take an Earthquake like a champ. He takes a Dazzling Gleam like a champ. I go for a second Dazzling Gleam. And then he goes for the Waterfall. And I'm like, well, shit. There goes Powerpuff. So I go here and slap ass. I'm just like, whatever. You either switch or I'm going to slap the shit out of you. He goes into Ferrothorn, which I thought he was going to do the first time. And I was like, oh, shit. Take all that damage. So I get the fuck out of there. I go into Derek here, who I'm like, oh, I could just do shit. He goes for the Stealth Rock. I'm like, well, shit, I can never switch back into Hero again. He Power Whips me. That does an unreasonable amount of damage, and I was like, whoa, I'm getting the fuck out of here. I go into Zargard, who could probably take a Power Whip like a boss. He instead Leech Seeds me, and I'm like, you piece of shit. I just go for a Dragon Dance because I'm like, alright, I could be Leech Seeded all day, every day. I'm just going to sit here and pump, and then Earthquake to shit, and if you switch, I'm going to just outrage everything. I do know he has that Clefable on his team, and that's a problem, so I'm just like, well, shit. I go for the Earthquake, it doesn't do that much. He does Gyro Ball and kill Zygarde finally, and I was like, well, shit. Oh, that was a big waste of time. I go into Hero, who has to take all that fucking damage. I go for a Solar Beam, predicting a switch into Quagsire, but he instead goes for a Leech Seed, and I'm like, you piece of fucking horse flesh. So he switches into Latias, who's going to take a Flamethrower to the face, and it's just like, I don't give a shit about your Flamethrower, and the Hero dies. I'm like, Hero, no! So I go into Derek here. I do have Mold Breaker, so an Earthquake is going to kill Latias, and I do outspeed it. Quagsire is here, so I'm like, no, I can't take Waterfalls to the face. So I go to Brahma, he goes for the Recover. I'm just like, well, shit, I have to Toxic this thing. He totally predicted that and switches into Conflable, and I'm like, fucking piece of shit. So a Calm Mind goes off, and I'm just like, oh no. I go for the Slack Off, but I'm going for Protect just to see what he does. He does hit me with a Moonblast. I figured he was probably going to try to go for another Calm Mind. I go into Derek here, who's like, Moonblast, you mean Degaff? And he switches out because he's like, I scared Doe, and Earthquake kills Ferrothorn, which is cool because Ferrothorn was fucking my shit up. So anyways, he goes back into Quagsire. I'm like, fucking piece of shit. He goes for an Earthquake, it doesn't do that much. He switches back into Clefable, and I double switch into Derek! Just like, fuck your Stealth Rocks, no more Stealth Rocks for you. So I Rapid Spin at the cost of sacrificing Derek, but Derek did his job. He took out the Latias and the Ferrothorn. So I'm going to Slap Ass here, and he's like, oh no, I'm afraid that my ass is going to get slapped. So he switches out, and I Fake Out. It does like 25% damage, which is cool. And I'm thinking I could just return this thing to death before it kills me, but instead he switches into Conflable, who takes a return, and I was like, oh shit, that was awesome. So I go for the second return, it gets a crit and kills Clefable, and I'm just like, oh thank god, Clefable is gone. So I go for a second return, it is 52%, I thought Quagsires were pretty bulky, but I guess not. He goes for the Curse, which is not very smart on his part. He probably thought he could take a return all day, but he was wrong, and Slap Ass saves the day. So yeah, that was into the battle. Pretty intense. I totally thought I was going to lose, but I didn't. So one more thing. At the beginning of the video, I had like a slight editing error, and this is a new editing software. My old one got deleted. I don't even know what happened there. But I don't know how to fix it, and I don't know how to use this thing yet, so my bad. future videos, I will work a lot harder at it, figure this shit out, and I'll get back to that. Until then, just wait it out. I will be uploading more videos. I'm going to upload lots of Pokemon shit that I'm going to do. I'm going to do all kinds of stupid Pokemon shit. Like, I don't know, my brother was like, hey, you should build a mono flying team, but only use starters like Pidgeot and Swellow and Noctowl and Talonflame, you know, all the starter birds. And I was like, hell, I'll do that shit. It was a disaster, but they weren't actually that bad. I actually dominated a guy's entire team with those Pokemon, except for like 2 steel Pokemon because they resist all day, every day. But yeah, so like this video, subscribe if you want to see more. See you next time, maybe?